What do the 6 stages of self-editing look like if you need to add a lot of words? My name is Gina. I'm an author, editor, publishing professional. I help you make your writing better. I talk a lot about my 6 stages of self-editing, and I recently made a video in which I went through them specifically with an eye towards cutting words. And someone said, what if I need to add words? So we are going to be going through these 6 stages, specifically answering some like guidance if you need to be adding words to your manuscript. As always, this is not a rule. Nobody's going to like check to see if you did all of these when it comes time to submit. And you might have a process that works really, really well for you that has nothing to do with this and doesn't look like this at all. And that's totally fine. This is just a guide for people who feel overwhelmed with the editing process and don't know where to start. If you know where you're going to start, then you're great. You don't need this. If you are unsure of where to start, or you are unsure of how to go about adding words when we've talked about cutting them before, this is the video for you. All right, so at the structural edit, if you need to be adding words, the structural edit is where we are looking to see if you have all of the plot points that you need. So you're going to pull out a beat sheet and you're going to identify all 8 of those plot points. Do you have all of them? Do they happen in the order and in the space in which they are supposed to? Meaning, do you have a hook prior to your inciting incident? Do you have some time after your resolution in which we get a chance to settle into the new normal? Do you have a big enough midpoint, that fun and games section that should take up a big chunk of the novel? If you're speed running through that and not spending enough time on the fun part, then that's a place where you can help beef up your words. I will say underwriters, usually we are going to be looking down here in these 3 are where we are actually going to be adding a lot of words, but I do often see people skipping their hook entirely. You would be shocked to know how many writers jump straight into an inciting incident. They have an inciting incident on like page 4 or page 5. It's not enough time. We need to know what normal looks like for your character first. The second one is the character edit. Do you have enough characters? Are you writing in first person and your character is kind of alone and just thinking through their thoughts all of the time? Give them a friend to talk to. Give them someone to talk through these problems with. Give them someone who gives them bad advice and makes them make bad decisions so that their solution to their problems takes longer than it should. Give them a love interest. Give them a boss. Give them another antagonist along the way that is a stumbling block along the way to them solving their bigger problem. When we are looking at a world building edit, are you being descriptive enough? Have you established your world and your setting, and not just the large world, but the smaller world? So yes, you have a character who lives in New York City, but what part of the city do they live in? Do they have to walk outside a lot? Do they spend a lot of time just sitting in their apartment thinking and daydreaming? Get them outside, put them in new settings, have them interact with the world around them. You're going to add a bunch of words. Same thing when we talk about the nuance edit. Are there metaphors on your page? Is there something happening to your character that can help the audience connect emotionally with the struggles that they are going through? Or have you just sat down and told us what they are doing and what decisions they are making? Add in foreshadowing, add in some metaphors, add in some internal struggle. Don't resolve their problems quickly. This is also a thing that I see with new writers often is they will introduce a problem and then they will solve it. And then they'll introduce a new problem and then they will solve that one. Instead, these problems should be piling up and getting bigger and worse, and therefore the solving of the problems is much more complicated and takes more words on the page. And then the line edit stage. I rarely see people adding words at the line edit stage, so this is not where you're going to pick up a bunch of words. A lot of words are likely going to be added at the structural stage if you have skipped some scenes. Obviously, if you skipped over your hook entirely, that's a lot of words to be added. But then it is going to be in this world building and then at this metaphor level. The scene level, you're probably not going to add a ton of words there. Usually, I actually, even if you're an underwriter, we're probably still going to cut words at the scene level because people tend to like over explain themselves on their way into a scene and then spend too much time summarizing as they back their way out of the scene. You're rarely going to be able to add words here in a way that feels natural and not bloated. So instead, we're going to look at this metaphor and nuance, the world building, characters, and then obviously, if you're missing a scene, you're going to add a lot of words there.